Hello, this is my presentation on language acquisition in L1 versus L2, and I just want to talk about the similarities and also the differences between how L1 and L2 are acquired. So this is the visual that I made to kind of make it a little bit more fun to learn about. So first I wanted to start off by saying that L2 requires explicit teaching, and L2 is not completely naturally acquired, whereas L1 is naturally acquired and explicit teaching is not required. Both of these languages are learned through exposure and practice. So that is a similarity that we have. The process of L1 acquisition includes that the infant is exposed to language and instinctively learns to use this language to communicate. So it's an instinctive thing. They know that they need to do this in order for people to understand them and for them to get their wants and needs met. Now, after they begin to use that language, through natural exposure, the child begins to understand and produce that language. When the child enters school, a formal education strengthens their use of that language. So they do have formal education and there is some explicit teaching done, but in order for them to be fluent in the language, they don't actually need explicit teaching. The process of L2 acquisition is first the child exercises their prior knowledge of grammar and language. So they have already acquired their L1, and so they have this universal grammar put into their brain, and so they're going to use those strengths that they already have and exercise those in order to learn this new language, and they can layer it on top. So the student then studies a new language on purpose. So instead of just being exposed to this language and instinctively using the language in order to communicate, they are using the language on purpose. And then academic language is learned and used. So now that they've began to study the language, then they can move on to using academic language. Both L1 and L2 have both L1 and L2 acquisition have predictable stages of development. So we know that each one of them is going to go through a process. They're going to begin to learn the language. They're going to make some errors and then they're going to get stronger with it. So even though the processes look a little bit different and the predictable stages look a little bit different, both languages, learning L1 and learning L2, will have those predictable stages of development. So that is my visual, and my references are attached onto the journal. So here we go. I'm just going to show you the visual slowly one more time so you can kind of look through it, but I will also attach this to the journal. And that is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed.